Welcome to the shop. This is the second tool haul of 2024, possibly my best. Obviously, we got some axes and adze. Super cool chainsaw. Over here, we've got a bunch of axe heads and some hatchets and a couple other cool things. And then right here in this little toolbox, there's a couple, what I believe to be super rare knives. So any of you knife collectors in here, stick around. We're going to go over this first, and then as soon as we're done with this, we're going to open this toolbox over here and check this out. So right off the bat, this is a Homelite C5. I did a quick search on it. 1962 to 1964 is when it stopped, I think. Anyway, it's 77cc saw. It's got a manual oiler, okay? I picked this up for $25 from a very ornery old lady at an estate sale. So her husband had died. She didn't know anything about the saw. She said he cut firewood with it. It was marked for 50 bucks. And I've stayed away from antique, vintage, old chainsaws. There's just so much to them, tracking down parts. I didn't try to start it. I didn't do anything. I just saw that these in basket case condition on eBay go for about 50 bucks. I checked the chain was tight, and I said, I'll buy it, 25 bucks. So anyway, this is going to be a project in itself, but the carburetor's spotless clean. It's got compression. Super stoked. It looks like it's got, I don't know, it's got a 32 inch bar on it. It's, look at that. I think that it ran when he parked it. I think he probably just got so old and there it sat. So it may have sat for 20 years. I don't know. I think I'm going to do an Alaskan sawmill with this. So that's that. Super excited. Let's check out these knives. All right. So, you know, I pick up these toolboxes just so that I can have places to stash some of these old tools. If anybody's wondering, so this logo with the metal handle on these old Craftsman boxes is, you know, late 50s, most likely into the 60s. I want to say no later than 67 or so. Maybe it was 64 they turned to plastic, but they still had the Crown logo, so that's the Crown logo. Back when Craftsman still made good stuff. I guess they're coming around. They might be coming around. All right. I'm going to start with this one. I have never seen a tang like this. And if we look, I mean, it looks to be hand forged. So there's a brass pin right there and a brass pin there. It's got some epoxy, so obviously somebody put a handle on it in the past, 30, 40 years. But this right here, it's got some markings. So I can make out what appears to be, I'm assuming that says Sheffield. And I can't make out up here. I'm going to get some oil. But the other thing we can see is it appears to say cast. So I did a Google image search, and that kind of design came up, but nothing with this tang that sits like that. So if any of you guys are knife collectors, potentially historians, weapons historians, if you guys have any information on this design, this style, it'd be greatly appreciated. I can't find anything on it, so. But that's a sweet piece. I picked that up for $2. $2. I almost passed it up. I thought that it was like homemade. Somebody just messed with it. And then I started looking close at it and realized I think it's something special. We'll see. Back to the treasure box. Right here, this piece, I always look for old kitchen knives. And if it looks kind of old, I'll pick it up and see if there's any marks on it. And when I pick this one up, it's covered in oil. It's got, like it was in a toolbox. K-bar. So I initially thought that this was, I don't know, like a Chinese knockoff or something, because I've never seen a K-bar kitchen knife. And the guy initially agreed on, I don't know, like a $5 price on it. And he said, oh, K-bar, that looks like it might be rare. Never seen one. And I said, yeah, me neither. So I looked it up right there on the spot, and they go for quite a bit more than $5. So after he had agreed to the price, he wound up jacking the price on this one up to $10, which I gladly paid. So that's a pretty sweet piece. We've got some carving tools, little rusted out, whole bunch of them, and they're what is that? S.J. Addis, London, but it's got the little compass that you see with like the Freemasons. So I don't know, a whole set of them, whole bunch of them. That was cool. You know, when I'm going camping and stuff, backpacking, I like to do a little carving. I find one of these a year. Well, you find a lot of the auto wrench, right? That's an auto wrench. But not many of them have the Ford. So that's a Ford auto wrench. And I'm not sure, I'm not well read up on it, but was it Buffalo, USA? So what's interesting is it's got another make on it and the Ford emblem. So that's cool. Stoked. All right. So all of these pieces here, well, not all of them. This one, I sold at a flea market. It was actually a really cool experience. And one of the guys, Aaron, if you're in here, hey, thank you, man. So one of the guys was selling down there, and he's a subscriber also, and he lives here in town where I live. Anyway, he had been saving a bunch of this old stuff, and he hit me up when we were down at the flea market and said, hey, come take a look at this, see if you want to make a deal. So we got Kelly Axe and Tool Works, Charleston, West Virginia, USA. True Temper on the other side. So I guess these are worth a couple bucks. I like it. It's got the, I've never ran in ads, but I do plan on getting into some hewing, but unfortunately I didn't notice it when I picked it up, but I still would have picked it up anyway. It's got this crack right here, right? So I think I'm not big on welding heads and then using them, but with this piece right here, I'm going to weld it and I'm going to use it. So the handle is busted, so I got to make a new handle for it. But what's weird, man, this is like, it looks like it's all rotted. It's hard as cement. So stoked on that. Thank you, Aaron. All right, we've got another, just a Stanley, Michigan, no biggie, M mark, so that's most likely Mexican made in Mexico if it's got the two M's, right? Good condition head, couple bucks. And we've got a little no-name boy's axe, but it's got a good thick wedge profile. So I think that'd make a good splitter for a young man, you know, a kid. I don't know. It says M 1 1/4, so I'm not sure what it is. All right, and then of course you gotta have another double bit. Here in the Sierra Nevadas we find a lot of these. This is just a flint edge, you know, True Temper flint edge, Kelly Works. It is a 60s double bit. We've got the ridges, 3 ridges in the eye on each side. Might be able to save the handle. Can't go wrong. Little Western pattern. I love the Western patterns. All right, so I don't come across a lot of these swing spout oil cans, and I got 2 of them. I don't know where I put the other one. I think I'll probably keep this for flea market selling, trading, whatever, because I really don't have a use for it. It takes up a fair amount of space in the shop, and I've already got so much. but it's just cool. It's like man cave stuff. Pick it up $5, and I think it'd probably go for, you know, 15 bucks at a flea market maybe. So pretty cool. All right, hacksaw, big hacksaw. This sucker is 20 inches across, but it's a Diston. So I think this, correct me if I'm wrong, if there's any butchers out there. I'm not sure if this was a butcher's saw, but it's an older Diston. It says cast steel on it, so might not be that old. Might be a new handle. The handle looks like it's in good shape. That's odd. It's burnt right there. So I've been picking up the older Diston saws. I like it. Pretty sweet if I ever got to chop up a carcass. Let me reposition here. All right, starting out, little tiny bench vise. Just look at that styling, right? I haven't seen any marks on here. Well, I'm gonna say 50s, 60s. It just has, I don't know, it's just got a cool style. Little tiny anvil on the back. So I like the clamp-on ones that clamp on instead of bolt it down, but something about this one said keep it, so got that. Pretty stoked on that. All right. Pretty good condition draw knife. Edge looks good. It says Greenlee. Not familiar with the brand, but good condition. All right, this guy. Gotta love the red double bits. Red any axe head. Bam. Still got the sticker. Half of it. And it's not a rare one. There's no ridges in the eyes, so, but true temper wood slasher. Hey. In great shape. Paint is in great shape. That's gonna make it's gonna make a pretty sweet axe. I'm going to pull out of this box my favorite hatchet that I scored in the past 2 weeks. All this is from the past 2 weeks. And what's interesting is this hatchet right here is from the same guy that I got my favorite hatchet that I have. And it's a Stanley. But what we see, what I like about this, and I think it's old. I'm not sure. It might be from like the 40s. Having a hard time. They use this logo for a long time. But it's got a nice little handle on it that can be saved, and that's always cool. It's got a big old crack in it, but, you know, this isn't, like, your life isn't going to depend on this thing. But look at that gold paint. That gold paint with the black. All I'm going to do is just put an edge on it and rehang it. But that was a pretty sweet piece. I did pay, I think I paid $15 for this. I did. And that's, you know, that's a little higher than my budget. But for a vintage handle that's savable, it's not in the greatest condition, but a vintage handle and just a really sweet little head. We got a little mushrooming. Hey, I was happy to pay 15 bucks for this. I'm stoked. That's going in my personal collection. I like it. All right, we got, I see a couple of these, not a lot. This one's 14 inches. Most of the ones that I find are, or what is it? No, correction. This is 12 inches. Most of the ones I find are 14 inches. So obviously they, you know, I don't know why they did this leather. I don't know if it would have lasted better than wood, like the Bridgeport hatchets. I don't know. But the head's in good condition. It's not all mushroomed out. And I think that the tag on the bottom will be savable. Little E-swing. And got to figure out how to put, I don't know, maybe new leather or something else on. But yeah, little 12 inch. Little 12, that'd be a good little pack hatchet. I like that. Stoked. So last haul, I got a Bossa, a split face or a split head hammer. And then we got another changeable face hammer. So obviously some rawhide. And I think, I'm not sure if all of these cast holes, because obviously this was cast. So, I don't know, Garlo Sacco, was that Maine? Is ME Maine? I don't know. Got your patent number on there. Number 2. Handle's in good shape. Looks like original handle. A giant ball peen. That thing's got to be 3 pounds. That's not normal. I don't normally find them that big. And just a mason's hammer, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Little mason's hammer. Stanley. Yeah, another Stanley. Back when Stanley made good tools. So I got a couple other sweet pieces in here. And this is obviously a little cruiser. Still got phenomenal paint on it. Now what's interesting here is we've got the alphanumeric code. And to me, I think that's a 0. A 01. I've not seen 0 for the number, or for the letter, correction. Anyway, sweet little piece. No ridges in the eye. So I doubt that predates the early 60s, late 50s ridge patent for True Temper. Regardless, the eye's straight. It's very symmetrical piece, and really excited about that. Oh man. Oh, no, this isn't one of them. It's just a little Homestead. It's a nice piece. It's in good shape. Collins Homestead. Bit's in great shape. I thought this was a different one. I've got another Michigan, and I'm not a fan of Michigans, obviously. What do we got here? Man, I do not remember getting this. This is a Collins. I need to get some oil. I'll be right back. Yeah, little Collins. Collins, Michigan. I don't remember getting this. That's a nice piece. You know, those Collins, I think they have more of a radius here. More of a circle as opposed to their True Tempers. It's a little bit more flat, a little more spread out. So I like the Collins. That's a decent piece. I'm going to try to remember where that came from. What do we got? Okay. Yeah, all this one says is made in the USA. Right up here. It was drilled and pinned, smashed, right? Totally smashed, cracked. Why would you keep it? Well, I've got a plan. And it involves a coffee table. And I don't want to use good heads for it. So I'll use stuff like this. Alright, all you Gransfors Brooks junkies. Bunch of weirdos. Alright, so this is the very first Gransfors that I have found in the wild in my life. And the pole's a little messy, but there's still so much meat there. And I have no idea. What's this say here? Looks like it's 20, 24. Anyway, if you look in here, and you can take my word for it or not, this is the bottom eye. Okay? This is the top. I put a caliper on it. It's wider at the bottom. And so many people, you know, they're just this cult following of the Crown and Gransfors. A lot of you guys may not know this, but Gransfors were crap axes. You know, in the 70s, 80s, whenever this was made. They were crap. So, I'll keep it, you know. It'll be usable if I figure out how to, you know, and I've come across other made in Sweden axes that were the exact same. Now, I could be totally wrong. Maybe they did that on purpose. I've come across plums that were that way also. And those plums were permabond. Okay, so maybe this was initially an epoxied head. But regardless, I was stoked to find it because I've never found a Gransfors. There she is. Alright. This, I'll talk about that. Give me 1 second. I want to show you one more. Is that it? Okay, so here, so this is my first 4-square Stanley. So that's older, right? That's an older piece. I want to say 20s, 30s, late 20s is when they came out with the 4-square. And I don't think it went more than a decade or so. And the shine might not be able to pick it up here. You know the Stanley Sweetheart. Okay, so there's that little heart right there. And I'm not sure if it says Sweetheart, but it's got that little heart. And again, that logo, that battery looking logo. But we do know that's an old piece. And unfortunately, someone got after it with a grinder, but you can tell all this pitting, right? So I see why they did it. And that was good. It needed to happen. So we're super pitted on this side and not much on this side. So that thing sat, you know, sat in the dirt, in the leaves, something, and just rotted away on that side, but not that side. So anyway, nice piece. I'm digging that. I'm happy with that. Here we go. Okay, so Michigan pattern, right? Michigan pattern that's actually in phenomenal shape. There's one little ding right here, right? That pole has not been pounded on. The thing is, you know, it's in good shape, and it's not an ugly Michigan, you know. It's a decent looking Michigan. Now, I'm gonna zoom in here. I've got to get a little oil on here. There she is. Okay. Collins. See that crown? So you can barely see it through the paint. Legitimus with the crown. So I don't know when they stopped making Legitimus. I don't come across a lot of Council tools or Collins, and especially don't come across a lot of Legitimus. I probably have 4 or 5 of them. But, you know, you got a high center line. It's not super thick. I've got Michigans that are thicker than that. And the eye is all right. We got a little, that looks like it, yeah, that was pounded on right there. But minimal. You know, the bottom eye is good. Bottom eye straight. So that's a keeper. Stoked on that. Got that from Aaron also in that trade at the flea market. So Aaron, thank you. Stoked on that piece right there. Oh, this guy. This guy. All right. No big deal. Egg beater, right? I was thinking the other day, before I got this, I thought, man, one of these days you're going to screw one of these caps off here, and you're going to find a, I don't know, a love letter, some $100 bill, something stashed in here, because a lot of people don't know that these caps twist off. Well, look at this. I went to unscrew this one, and it's nailed on. So we're going to unscrew this. I got to get a pair of pliers out real quick. We're going to pop this off. And I don't hear anything jingling in there. So I'm assuming they just tacked it on there to keep the handle in place. But we got to see. Big fat nothing burger. All right, well, that would have been pretty cool if there was something in there. What is it? I have no idea. I buy hammers. I picked this up and I thought, I have no idea what it is, but I don't have one. I'm thinking meat tenderizer? Heck, I don't know. Tyler, you watching this? What is this? Somebody on here knows. Leave a comment if you guys know what this is. But thinking it's a meat tenderizer. I don't know, man. I don't know. Some of you guys are plain guys. Now, I watched the Irish lad that does all the TikToks and stuff, and he was refinished. I'm not a plain guy. I know enough that a Stanley #1 and a Stanley #7 and a 5-point or a 5S, whatever. I know there's a couple to keep your eyes out for, and I've come across a couple decent ones. But anyway, this is the first one I've come across that's fluted. So it's a Craftsman, and I don't know how old, man, this thing is a mess. I don't know how old that logo is, but it's got a plastic handle. But it appears to be all there, and it appears that whatever this thing's coated in kept it in decent shape. So, yeah. Haven't looked it up. I didn't see any numbers yet. I might clean it up. I'll probably just clean it up and sell it at the flea market when I do that again. But, yeah. Collins, blue. axe eye. This thing's got almost like a high center line to it. It's got a nice profile with that kind of high center line to it. The bit's in phenomenal shape. I don't know if this thing, I don't think that's ever seen dirt. It's in great shape. So, yeah, another one. Not that I need one, but I got another one. And a little Vaughn hatchet. I had actually pulled this out last weekend, and my uncle, we were throwing, and he was throwing a bunch of my other throwing axes. And I had just pulled this out because I don't know, I was just chucking it. And he picked it up and stuck like 10 in a row with this. So I'm gonna clean that sucker up for him and make a nice little thrower. This one was just kind of odd. It was kind of odd. It's just so fat right here. But yeah, stoked on the haul. We got one more. Okay, yeah, I got to look at this one too, because this one came in that deal from Aaron also, and I couldn't make out. I'm gonna have to zoom in on this. Hopefully I can see it without taking a wire wheel to it. I mean, I see US. Almost looks like Tool, but is that Charleston, West Virginia? Is that Kelly? I'm gonna take a brush to it real quick. All right. Yeah, I'm not seeing any more. It's going to have to get cleaned up a little bit more. But what is odd or different... Oh, we've got some other markings here. Hold on. What we got? RLM. Somebody marked their tool, RLM. All right. So what's different about this is, if I'm not mistaken, oh, nice bunch of spider eggs in there. Yeah, that's the top. So what's interesting about this is that it's on the right side of the pole as opposed to the left. So most everything's on the right. Oh no, have to check that out. It's a mystery. All right, obviously can't pass up on the thumb pump oilers. And a little Crowder USA wrench. I don't know, I think I overpaid for it. I paid a couple bucks for it, but it's just this pretty cool design. All right, guys, hey, let's talk axe season. Guys, it is going crazy out there. There's so much good stuff available. So get out there, get it done. Hey, keep your eyes open for that chainsaw. I think I'm going to do an Alaskan sawmill with it. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And we've got, oh, this wasn't everything. I got to crunch it all into like 20, 25 minutes, max 30 minutes. Got some other cool shit. I'm going to add that into the next haul video, which is going to be in a couple weeks. I'm going to try to get some restorations going. I've got some axes on the bench, and I'm going to try to get some of that pumped out. But I don't know if that chainsaw is coming first. So anyway, get out there, get some treasure, and I'll see you guys next time.